Hi, this is Mike Fry, and you are listening to the We Fucking Told You So podcast. Today is April 6th, 2025, and today's installment is The Resistance Has Begun. Even supporters of the current regime are turning against it. We think we know why. On April 5, 2025, more than 1,500 protests took place across the United States alone, with more taking place around the world. Nearly 30,000 people showed up at the state capitol building in St. Paul, Minnesota, while organizers of the Montpelier, Vermont event said the crowd that was expected to reach 6,000 swelled to more than 10,000, which is a remarkable achievement for a town of just 8,000 residents. See some pictures of the day on our blog if you're interested. And it wasn't just progressive places like Minnesota and Vermont. Protests in the Deep South were also heavily attended. Attendance was so strong that organizers and law enforcement alike had a hard time estimating crowd sizes. One video in New York City shows a busy street filled to capacity with protesters as far as the eye can see in both directions from several stories overhead. Some have estimated the total participation in protest on that one day to be as high as 5.2 million in the United States alone. But attending these events was not the only way people were protesting. On a major Arkansas freeway, a huge flag that read Trump 2024 had been flying for months. Now it's flying in distress at half-mast and upside down. Tesla takedown protests, a whole other genre of pro-democracy protests not counted in the numbers reported so far, also continue all over the nation on the heels of overflowing town hall meetings where Republican legislators, if they bother to attend, have been getting their asses handed to them by their constituents, again, even in very conservative communities. People have also been voting. In a handful of special elections over the last week, voters have been swinging votes to progressives by double digits. A Wisconsin Supreme Court candidate that Elon Musk backed with more than $25 million lost bigly to the progressive candidate who spent almost nothing to try to win. It was as if the money Musk spent actually swung voters to the progressive. The issues people are complaining about are many, far too many to list. One thing is abundantly clear, though. Republicans underestimated the passion of the American people as well as their willingness to fight back against an ongoing fascistic takeover of the United States government. And typical of the hubris that has brought down many a megalomaniac, Republicans have overestimated their own ability to deal with the fallout. Discontinuing the town halls where constituents have been complaining hasn't worked. Instead, the people have just held their own empty chair town halls where they have yelled at the empty chairs their representatives should be sitting in. That is, if they had the courage to actually face their voters, because as anyone with a functioning brain would realize, refusing to address their constituents gives voters the impression their lawmakers are spineless, childish cowards refusing to do their actual jobs. As a result, canceling town halls only makes their constituents more angry and more likely to take out their anger in other ways. The hubris is showing its face everywhere. Add in policies that are crashing the economy, robbing Americans of their savings and retirement accounts, while also pushing through destructive tariffs and massive tax cuts for billionaires. And just on the financial front, voters have a lot to be really pissed off about. Layer in the fact that the U.S. regime has been breaking U.S. and international law by rounding up and shipping innocent people whom they have given no opportunity for legal hearings to international concentration-style prisons where few people make it out alive and the rage only rises. Add in cutting benefits for sick or disabled Americans on Medicaid, and more people are even more angry. Cut federal staff and Social Security, an earned benefit program people have paid into their entire adult lives with the promise of getting it back, and people are still even more angry. Republican sycophants, following orders from number 3, are doing so much so fast to pocket so much cash for themselves at the expense of the working class that most people can see it, which presents a problem for Republicans because, as they themselves wrote in Project 2025, their blueprint for the first 100 days of the regime, their goal was to move fast and get things done before people could really realize what was happening. But they can't move fast enough for that, and people are seeing it, and the gross incompetence and hubris on display is making many of their own supporters regret having ever supported them. In the end, it will be their own stupidity, greed, and arrogance that will be their own downfall. And when Republicans crash and burn, as they clearly will, we will happily dance in the streets singing, "We fucking told you so." You have been listening to the We Fucking Told You So podcast. Please like and subscribe and share on your social media. Thanks for listening.